This week, it was all laid bare. Public hearings, partisan posturing, nothing new. What a farce. Let's start, shall we, by enjoying for a moment the laughable hypocrisy of the Democrats' latest desperate impeachment gambit. Apparently, it's about bribery now. Nancy Pelosi said so, and they all fell in line like sheep.
The bribe is to grant or withhold military assistance in return for a public statement of a fake investigation into the elections. So that's bribery.
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 Bribery. Bribery.
Bribery.
Bribery? Are they kidding? In the swamp, bribery is their business model. What do you think a political donation from a business or a lobbyist or a corporate PAC is? It's money in exchange for a political favor. It's a bribe. Let's pick some random examples. Oh, look, Adam Schiff. He took over $350,000 in bribes from the defense sector and, surprise, surprise, pushed for military action overseas. Schiff took over $100,000 from AT&T. When it was reported that President Trump wanted to block the AT&T Time Warner merger, guess who piped up on AT&T's behalf? Shifty Schiff, of course. How about Jerry Nadler? He was bribed by lobbyists for Somalia and a motley assortment of other foreign governments. He took over $80,000 from teachers' unions and in exchange voted against charter schools and voucher programs. And then the queen of bribery, Nancy Pelosi. She boasts about her fundraising prowess. Raising money is the way she clings to power. Her office proudly told the New York Times earlier this year that she's raised over $700 million since 2002. Does anyone think that money is anything other than bribes? It worked for Visa. In the 2008 cycle, they gave over $100,000 to Democrats. On top of the fact that Nancy herself snagged some preferential stock in the company, those bribes helped persuade Pelosi as Speaker of the House to kill off legislation that would have cut Visa's revenues. And then there's the foreign bribes, including, unbelievably, the fact that Pelosi has taken money from lobbyists representing shady companies in Ukraine. My God, bribery, thy name is Nancy. So, what did the Democrats achieve this week with their impeachment rebranding and public parade of disgruntled bureaucrats? It wasn't damaging to President Trump as they'd planned. It actually hurt the ruling class and the establishment, who have declared war on President Trump because it exposed for all to see their snooty arrogance and contempt for democracy. This was Bill Taylor, the current Ukraine ambassador.
I am not here to take one side or the other.
That is highly revealing and completely false. Of course they take one side. They take the establishment side, the bureaucracy side, the ruling class side. This is not about Republican versus Democrat. This is insiders versus the outsider. That's why they're so obsessed with whether things are irregular.
I encountered an irregular, informal channel of U.S. policymaking. An irregular channel.
It's extremely irregular. This irregular channel.
Highly irregular.
Highly irregular. That's bureaucrat for deplorable. That's what this is all about. It's the system striking back. Trump wants a State Department that stands up for America in the world. They want to keep it standing up for the world in America. Trump thinks promises made before an election should be implemented after an election. They want to ignore those promises as if the election never happened. Trump wanted to govern. They chose to obstruct. Trump wants re-election. They won't take the risk. But does the Trump-hating ruling class even understand how much long-term damage it's doing to America's fabric with its reckless, demented drive to remove Donald Trump by non-democratic means because they're worried he'll win an actual election? They destroyed trust in the media long ago, but now they've destroyed trust in the civil service too, in the foreign service, in the FBI, the CIA, the whole system. They've made sure future presidents can't have confidential conversations with foreign leaders. They've distracted and divided the country, and they've guaranteed that the next Democrat president will also be impeached. I hear people all the time saying, how can you support Trump? Look at his behavior. Look at his tweets. I say, look at his results. Working Americans finally getting a pay rise after decades of income stagnation, engineered by the same establishment geniuses blocking Trump's every move. America's #1 enemy, China, finally confronted after decades of sucking up by the same establishment geniuses now plotting to kick Trump out. And then look at Trump's enemies. However bad some people think Trump may be, his enemies are worse. They are completely insufferable, pompous, sanctimonious, self-righteous. They're decadent, doing just fine in their coastal enclave, so screw everyone else. They're superficial, always putting style over substance. And they are oblivious to the damage they themselves did to this country with their elitist policy agenda, and the damage they're doing now with their divisive impeachment agenda. The Democrats talk about justice. I tell you what justice looks like. These crazed partisan Democrats sent to the political wilderness, their candidates defeated at every level, the White House, Congress, state and local government, until they return finally to their senses.